What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you a review of the New Balance 997 in this Paris exclusive colorway. Today's video is brought to you by Capsule. Capsule is a brand new product on the market which helps to preserve your sneakers and extend their lives by up to 2 times. So it's a very simple process. They offer a UV protective pod, which is where you put your shoes inside, and then the secret sauce comes in the form of a cartridge which you inject into the pod. So not only does this push out the bad air containing the dirt and the oxygen, but it contains their scientifically backed formula, which is the key to preserving the life of your sneakers. So this is best used for maybe your grail type shoes that you wear maybe a couple times a year, and then the rest of the time they're just literally sitting in a box on your shelf. So this tackles the 2 main reasons why your shoes age, crumble, and deteriorate over time, which is hydrolysis and oxidization. And recently they began to offer what they call Capsule Club, which is a subscription-based service. So if you're someone that's in the market for a few of these pods and you have a few shoes that you want to use this with, then this is the best way to utilize Capsule for a discounted price. So I've linked their socials, their website, all that good stuff down below. So check them out, do your own research, and be sure to tell them that I sent you. So this right here is the second of the 2 pairs of New Balance shoes that released exclusively at New Balance's Le Marais store in Paris. So this release coincides with the 2024 Paris Olympics, and they're only available at that specific store. So I want to give a huge shout out over to Kevin, aka WebPix on Instagram. He traveled over 45 minutes to get to that store in Paris, bought both of my pairs and shipped them over to me without asking for a penny over retail. So a huge shout out goes out to Kevin. If you're watching this, thank you again. So this is the New Balance 997, which we've honestly haven't seen released by New Balance in quite some time now. When I first got exposed to the brand, arguably the 997 and the 998 were the top 2 silhouettes that the brand offered at the time, and we had a ton of collaborations with the 997. Fast forward to today though, after having a bit of a hiatus, if this is any indication, it seems like New Balance is going to try to push the 997 once again. So these retailed for a price of 240 euros, which is approximately 265 US dollars or 360 Canadian dollars converted. And the product code for this sneaker is U997PA. Before we go on any further though, here's a quick look at the packaging. So this comes in a blue-based Made in USA New Balance box with this oversized New Balance logo in white on the top and Made in USA branding on the sides of the lid. As far as the shoe goes, so jumping right into it, on the toe box, this is covered in a cream-colored mesh, and then next to this where the U-throw is, we have a synthetic brown-colored nubuck. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have a genuine off-white colored leather, and taking these out of the box, this had a really strong leather smell to it. But one thing I immediately noticed compared to past 997s that I've owned is that the toe box on this pair seems a little bit bulky, and it didn't have that super smooth, tapered look to it that 997s usually come with. Anyways, moving further down on the mid panel, we have more of that off-white or sail colored leather. Stitched on top of this, we have the New Balance N logo, which is constructed out of a green colored suede with a tan colored backing underneath. Covering the top 4 eyelets, we have a synthetic gold layer with this textured finish to it. And then moving downwards, covering the heel of the sneaker, we have this large overlay of shaggy suede. And this is another thing I noticed was different compared to my past 997s. It seems like the heel of the sneaker is a lot higher. And I don't know if this was intentional, maybe they're going back to the original look of the 997. Don't quote me on this, but it's definitely different from the 997s from say 10-ish years ago. Above this, we have another layer of synthetic brown nubuck. And then on the top of the heel, we have this green colored suede and we have New Balance branding embroidered across the top. On the bottom of the heel, we have a cream colored TPU heel cup, which gives you additional structure and support around the back end of the sneaker. And then in terms of laces, this pair comes with 2 different lace options. The standard lace that they come with is a flat white colored lace, but they also come with a secondary cream colored lace if you want to give the shoe more of that tonal look. Underneath this, the tongue is padded in foam, but the top layer is covered in the shaggy brown colored suede. On the top, we have a tag with New Balance 997 Made in USA branding in gold, and then on the edges of the tongue, it's given this deconstructed look where you can actually see the exposed wedge of foam. And then the back side of the tongue is covered in a red colored textile. The interior of the shoe is lined in a silky smooth red colored liner, and then for the insoles, these come with your typical foam lined New Balance insoles. It's covered in a green colored finish on top, and we have New Balance branding pressed onto the heel. So the upper of the 997 sits atop this foam midsole, which is comprised of both a basic foam, something like an EVA, along with this large end cap wedge along the heel. So on the medial side, you can see this a bit better. This bottom layer is much softer in comparison to the top layer, which is where the end cap is, and this has a very stiff feel to the touch. And then for the outsole, this is your typical 997 outsole, so this is crafted out of a black colored rubber. However, on the medial edge in the middle, this gray portion, this is actual foam, which has a much softer feel obviously, and we have the New Balance logo pressed right into the center. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, so historically the 997s, I found that they ran more so true to size, sometimes a little bit roomy. So in my case, I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and pretty much all my 997s from years past have been a size 10. However, for this pair, they definitely run a little bit more roomy, so I opted to go half size down to a size 9.5. So trying these on, they fit me incredibly, there's no discomfort whatsoever. So I feel like for narrow, normal, or slightly wide footers, go a half size down, but if you have a really wide foot, you might want to consider just sticking true to size. So getting these a half size down, there's just about an index finger's width space between the top of the shoe and the top of my toe. And I didn't feel any pinching or pressure points around the toe box area, whereas in years past, those 997s going true to size left me more so about a thumb's width space between the top of the shoe and my toe, but the width of the shoe ran a little bit more snug, I felt. That's why I prefer to go true to size for those older models. So long story short, I went a half size down in these, the same size I'd wear in other New Balance models like the 992, 993, and the 990 series like the 990 V3, V4, V5, and V6. In comparison, I go true to size or a size 10 in other silhouettes like the 860 V2, 1906, 2002R, and a lot of the made in UK models like the 991 and the 1500. Moving on to the comfort of this shoe, so the 997 unfortunately is not the most comfortable New Balance silhouette. The reason for that is because of this chunky end cap on the heel. It feels extremely firm, so you're gonna have some minimal cushioning on the forefoot, but the heel of the sneaker has pretty much no give. It's like you're sitting on a very elevated, firm platform, so it's not really a shoe that I consider to be that comfortable. But if you're someone that historically finds 997s to be comfortable, I feel like you'll like these the same, but I find other models like, for example, the 990 series, the 2002Rs, even the 9060 and the 1000, there's definitely more squishiness and comfort, at least in my opinion. Finally, in terms of the quality and craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality I thought was really solid. So we have these genuine leathers on the shoe, which smell and feel like great leather, along with the genuine suede along the heel. This was really nice too. There are obviously synthetic materials on the shoe, which is typical across all made in USA New Balance sneakers, but I thought the quality of the shoe was really solid. And in terms of the build, there were some very minor issues with the stitching, but for the most part, it was really solid. The panels were consistent between my left and right feet, and there weren't any visible glue stains on my shoe, so I was really happy with that. So with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. I'm personally extremely happy that New Balance is bringing back the 997 once again. I have so many pairs in my collection, but I'm excited to see what future colorways they drop as they reintroduce this model to a much wider New Balance audience. As for this colorway though, obviously the fact that it's extremely limited is part of the reason why they're so expensive on the secondary market, but in terms of just the colorway itself, just like I mentioned for the 990 V6 review, it sort of has like a Christmas feel to it, but at the same time it kind of reminds me of ancient China, for example, or the colors that be worn by an ancient warrior or something like that. That's just my opinion though. I know the majority of people are just saying that this is like a holiday themed shoe, even though technically they're inspired by the look of the New Balance Le Marais store, which was designed in part by artist Frank Pellegrino. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this New Balance 997 in this Paris colorway? What are your overall thoughts on this pair, and between this one and the 990 V6, which of the two do you guys prefer? For me, like I mentioned in the other video, I think the 990 V6 is the clear winner, but this one is no slouch either. If you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8. Check me out on X at sean.go_spoutout and visit my website at seango.ca. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch all of you in my next video.